Good morning, good afternoon, good night. How's everybody doing today? Of course, this is basically Gamer Smithy once again, back with another troll video. Yeah, just basically doing the event right now. If you're wondering about this event or whatever the case may be, basically this is the sum up of the event itself. To get basically the lunar condensate is basically you get that from dungeons, of course. You get the QRes seal from basically just doing your dailies or whatever the case may be, and you'll also get the other things. What's it called? Give me a second. The basically Versed essence, you get them from just doing werewolves and wolves across the board. Now you take basically those three things, like I said, with this stuff here, which is basically Vein, you'll be able to actually grab that really quick and do it that way. Now I've got to go along and loot collect my stuffage because if I don't, I'm not going to have much stuffage left or much inventory space. Is what I'm looking at. Now, let me see here. I should switch that into. Now, at the end of the event, of course, I will be giving these away to wear pumpkin and the cowboy pumpskly. So you'll be able to actually acquire those at the end of the event, of course. If you do not have time enough and everything else to come back into the event, you'll be able to get those for absolutely for free if you do play on the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 console. Of course, you basically have to join my stream and basically get those itself. So you'll be able to benefit with a little bit of mastery and whatever the case may be. Of course, like I said, it's just one of those things, one of the little gifts I want to be able to give to people. Of course, I've been grinding this event just for that, solely for that purpose. Now, let me see, because I've got pretty much everything right now a part of this event except I think it's just one ally and one mount I've got left to go, and I'll be actually finished with this event. Now, there is one thing that drops into the delves, which is basically one of the event mounts. I do, like I said, let me see. I think it's an event mount or it's an ally. It's one of the above two. And what you could actually do is just pick that up and whatever the case may be. Let me see here. I got to go to event here and let me see if I can find that really quickly for you guys. Basic Q Quivers Direwolf will actually drop in the dells. Uh, like I said, you'll be able to grab that, and that's the only one that actually will drop in the dells. Like I said, it's just something I picked up myself at the very beginning of this event. Now you can't craft it; it is a droppable. You'll be able to go along and grab that. Now the thing is, I'm still working on a few things here, and working on the event, basically to finalize what I'm doing here. Now, what I'm gonna do here is, I'm not sure what I'm gonna be doing. I'm just basically, I think I'm gonna be doing this just some more pumpkins and stuff like that, just to finalize this. Now, if you got any questions or anything like that about the event or anything like that, well, basically, you can actually ask me if you'd like to do so. Like I said, this event is very easy. Basically, as you notice, like I said, with well, the costume I'm wearing is from 2018, but you see the dragon I'm actually using, that's actually craftable now too as well with this event. So it's a really nice little dragon. Also, I got the only one that actually has an animation. I mean, an animation is like this. I'll show you in a second. See, when every time I shoot, it goes boo. And I basically find that quite interesting because it's the only dragon that actually has that type of animation or any type of animation that way for words or whatever the case may be. So yeah, like I said, and it's like the what was it? Let me see. I'm still doing the dungeons here, trying to get this done right now and try to make this work as much as I can, and trying to get this event completed. Come here. How are you doing, Sock? How are you doing? Like I said, did you get the event done today, my friend? Because today is the Halloween event. You know that, don't you? Or hopefully, do you know that? Basically, is pumpkins everywhere. And I mean pumpkins. Well, basically, the return back dismount, of course, they do have it around every single Halloween. Oh, okay, okay. Now, basically, if you want to know how to get everything else, what you want to be able to do is I do have a guide on this one as well, but I'll explain it to you very quickly. I'll explain it to everybody. Basically, I'll try to say the word out what it's spelled out. The Curversed Essence. It will be actually dropped from Wolves and Werewolves, of course. And then the other two items, the Lunar Condensate is dropped from Dungeons. And then you get the Corvus Steel. Basically, do it just for doing dailies. And how are you doing, Mo? How are you doing today, my friend? And welcome to the stream, of course. I'm just basically... Yeah. So yeah, like I mean, that's exactly what I did too. I posted a one early. I basically what I did was learn how to do it, like I said, and see exactly what to do it. Because what they did with it a little bit different this time. They basically changed the event just a little tiny bit. So it was more like if you didn't know what to do with it, like I said, when it comes to that, it was a little bit more confusing to start off. But once you get there, it's not too bad, so on and so forth. So it was pretty straightforward. Like, I mean, once you, like I said, start collecting it and stuff like that. So, yeah, like I said, I even posted up on my YouTube channel as well, like for basically all my followers and stuff like that as well. So, like I said, just get the information out there, whatever the case may be. So, yeah. Like, I mean, just to basically help you guys as much as I can as well. Right now, I'm actually just doing basically dungeons. Right. Yeah, I know. Curse Veil, basically, you don't need. Well, basically, the very first time that they actually done this event, you had to actually basically farm the pumpkins. You literally had to because there was no thing. And then a lot of people complained about it. Like I said, literally complained about having to do that. So they actually put in the pumpkin farms. They put in the pumpkin dungeons, whatever the case may be. So it made it a heck of a lot easier for those people actually just getting into it, or whatever the case may be, and doing it that way. So, yeah. So, like I said, I'm glad they actually did that. Oh, okay, nice. Awesome, dude. Oh, I was gonna say, Sock, how is the basically the build going for you now? Like I said, do you find it a lot easier to grind with, or what? Right. But a pirate disc is a pirate disc. It doesn't matter which one you have. I do. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, like I said, hopefully you find that build a lot better. Like I mean, it is more to do with grinding. It's more to do with survival. Now it's no, it like I mean, you will lose a bit of DPS. Like I said, with doing delves. Right. Right, that's what I'm saying. Basically, when you actually put the gems and stuff together with the like, I mean, I don't like using potions unless I really have to. Like, I mean, and that. Ah, nice. Well, that's great. Now you basically be able to go straight to and get those gems and stuff like that for the rest of your characters, and that's pretty much it. That's like I said. That's why I gave you my build and stuff like that. If you don't like the if you don't like the builds, you don't have to it. If you don't like to say the videos or explanation what I'm doing, right. So basically, what you need to do is just augment. That's all. I've got the same problem with another one of my characters as well. Um, yeah, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like, I mean, this is why, like I say, when you use your potions and stuff like that, you want to hold on those for the higher levels. And that's exactly what I was mentioned before. Now, like I said, when you actually come into problems or anything like that, like I said, it's not that you can't do U11, but you'll be able to survive U11 without using anything. Oh, nice, nice. Awesome, dude. Like, I mean, all you need is a couple of those crystalline gems. Like I said, you max them out, you basically augment them and stuff like that. And like I said, like, I mean, the only thing is, with my build for my Shadow Hunter, and the reason why I don't give it builds that much, because I don't want it widely spread, but I know how efficient they are. That's just why I look at it. Like, I mean, I know how basically how to do things in that direction. I look at more efficiency instead of pure damage, especially if it comes to the light side of it. Now, the physical side of it, you'll basically won't lose no damage at all. What you could do, with the build itself, what you could do is just have. I've got basically with a perma torch, I have 10.3K. Now, I don't need that much for Uber 11. So the thing is, I don't need that much for Uber 11. You only need about 8 or 9K, but you need to make sure your damages are up. If your damages and stuff is a little bit off, you will struggle a little tiny bit, but you'll struggle only for a short period of time, which is a good thing. Until you get your augmentation stuff. Like, I mean, you could still go and do Uber 10. The only thing is, the crystalline gems does not drop. Well, not a little bit. They'll basically be kind of maxed out at 8K. That's exactly what you'll find. So you basically still can do pretty much a maximum amount of damage. The only thing is, when it comes to delves, like to get to Uber 11 delves, that's where it changes a bit. That is where your light becomes more apparent. And that's exactly the way I look at it, and that's exactly the way I'm doing it itself. Like I said, that's why this build works so well. Like, I mean, in that direction. Now, you don't need a permatorch. You can get a regular banner. Like I said, with a 300 light, you're doing fine with that, and so on and so forth. Now, the way you get banners is doing the delves itself, and you get those green boxes. Ah, yes, yes. They do get expensive a little bit over time. That's why I said if you don't have the dragons and stuff like that, you basically can't make that much flux. And that's a great big problem with this game itself. Like, I mean, if you're not making the flux and stuff like that or making the drops, you got to figure another way of making flux. And this is why I say, right. Right. Because basically you're dealing with all the failures and stuff like that. You're right. But if you took night lives and do all your weeklies, you would still be able to get your basically your gems and stuff up. I'll show you exactly what I mean. Okay, I'm basically what I'm doing right now with my Solarian. Basically, I'm actually just feeding him night lives. Now I could use him in right. It'll save you a heck of a lot of resources. Basically, you get 9 lions at the end of every week. It's a bit slower grinding, but once you get up there and get your augmentations up there, it gets pretty pretty powerful itself, and you'll also be able to get that moving right for you. So basically, what I'm doing is making a delve build for this one. I've got Berserk Battler, Volta Velocity. I've got Pyro Disc for those curved skulls. I've also got its class gem. But as you notice, there's only 41k yet. I'm basically still working on that. I'm never in a rush to do my classes. That's the thing. I know people spend a fortune into the game itself, and this keeps on pouring more and more money into it. I just go along and do my weeklies and basically just add stuff to my characters. Right now, I'm stuck between two characters. Right. Magic characters are actually good as well. But like I said, it depends on which one you're going to use. Like I said, I find the gunslinger very universal. But I find the gunslinger drops off. What is my main character? My main character right now is Shadowhunter. The one I'm actually currently using right now. Right. Shadowhunter is actually a good blended character. Now, you got to remember, the thing is, it's good as a balanced character. Now, it will go to a certain, it will go to a certain point in the game itself. Like, it's great for Uber 11 because, like I say, with the build I have for my Shadowhunter, it's what I can pull off, and I can pull off the numbers, and I can keep. Yeah, I love the Shadowhunter too. I've been using that for years, and people will be saying, basically, I'm dedicated to my character. Yes, I'm darn dedicated to my character, just because it's a universal character. The only way you can actually really mess up the Shadowhunter is make it absolutely garbage. Like, I mean, just basically wipe the whole entire thing where it's doing absolutely nothing. It's got a good upbeat to it. Like, I mean, you can't really change it that much, like, without screwing it over, is what I'm seeing is. So what I'm saying is, right. Well, you think that, but just watch, with my buffs and stuff like that, just watch, movement speed, my 112, and I can get 157, 158. It's not the slowest character in the game, but it's when everything kicks in. And the way I do that is, I'll explain how to do that. I use the emblem of basically a Berserker emblem. So I'm actually killing something, my speed increases. Then I've also got the ally, that's basically the Ernie. That actually helps me with defense. And right, you can get to about 180, 190 with it if you use the right buffs and stuff like that. Like, I mean, if you want to use basically the dragon buff and so on and so forth, there's a dragon that will actually give you movement speed too, and so on and so forth. So, and also you'll be able to get the rings and stuff like that too. Right. But the only thing is, Dino Tamer itself, it's only temporary as speed is. Because, you know, when you use your mount, is the only time you pick up speed. So that's exactly what I'm saying is, it's only temporary speed. But I can actually make it almost permanent with my Shadowhunter. Because once something dies, this is the way I got it set out, when something dies, or I'll kill something, or one of my procs hits, I'm actually gaining speed all the time. So I never drop below a certain speed level. Like, one of my procs gives me 150. If my proc, all my procs hits, I get almost 200 speed on my Shadowhunter. And that's how that works. So, like, I mean, you gotta remember, everything's gotta stack together right. It's sending with your damage. Is like, I mean, when it comes to that. If you get your damage and everything set right, like, I mean, you can do millions and millions and millions of damage and still be able to finish the game or whatever the case may be. Because you 11 is pretty much finished game. Then basically you just get the mastery and stuff from that, and just basically build on your mastery until you get to the 500. Then you'll actually be able to do max damage. And that's exactly how that works. Then you work on your gems and stuff the rest of the ways, whatever the case may be, and voila, you get basically you're doing endgame at that point. And that's exactly how that works. So you gotta remember, like I said, everything stacks with each other. For the builds? Like, I mean, that's why I said I use Stinging Curse on my Shadowhunter. Some people do and some people don't. I use, like I said, the Berserk Battler. Not Berserk Battler, but the Vampiric Vanquisher for living. And for damage and stuff like that, my potions will kick in if I decide to do extra damage. Like, depends on the area I'm in and what I'm going to be doing with it. That's exactly the only time I actually use a potion. So I can save the potions and stuff like that without actually worrying. Well, having the auto potion, let's say if you're using the, basically the Identifying. Let's say if I'm using Identifying Vial, I find I'm using way too many potions. So, like I said, just because the way Shadowhunter works. So, like I said, that's exactly that's why I don't use it on that character. Right. Right. So when you actually finish with that, you'll be able to actually get your damages and stuff up. That's the only thing that you're actually missing. Like, I mean, I find when it comes to like certain builds and stuff like that, they do work. Now, there is builds out there that will not work at all. Like, if you put a flower power or anything like that to, let's say, a Shadowhunter, it'll be horrible because you'll never get the damages and stuff. You'll never get the speed out of it. It wouldn't be even worth building in that direction. You gotta remember, when it becomes like, for max speed, what you want to do itself is basically Berserk Battle will give you speed too, movement speed and attack speed, and extra light. That's when you can get about 210 out of a Shadowhunter. But basically, I'll end up proccing with that little extra speed. But the reason why I don't use it myself to know exactly the numbers that I will get is because of the fact that I'm not worried about the extra light or just a little tiny bit more extra speed. Now, it's not hindering me at all. Like, I mean, it's basically what I do is I can swap out and use the Berserk Battle. I've got an extra one in my basically storage if I decided to do so. So I'm not going to lose PR, like I said, to that point, and I'll basically gain the maximum speed for the character. But now, 210 is still not actually a bad speed. I will see that right now when it comes to that. So, depends on how you build something and how you use it, and what you want to use it. Yeah, please give me 1K light. But no, you can get to 1K light very easy. Like I said, all you got to do is just roll your gems into light. Your first 3 gems, your cosmic gems, and you'll get your light. Then you'll basically augment them. And that's exactly how you max your light. You can get almost 9K light. I think it's like 9.7 K light just for just doing the augmentations. It's very easy to do. Like, I'll show you exactly. My augmentation is not 100% yet on my Solarian. And I'll show you exactly what light it has so far. I'm almost maxed out, but not quite. I've got 8K light on this guy. Like I said, I'm still working on this one. It can go about 1 more K more. Plus, I'm actually looking for a better banner, which I don't have. This one only has 300 light. Of course, you can get the banners from these green boxes here, which is basically from the Delves. I'll show you what the boxes look like if you've never seen them before, and be able to help you with that, which is these boxes. Let me see if I can find them in my inventory. Usually I got them in my inventory. I usually got a bunch of them. Let me see here. They're Delve caches is what they are, and that's the right name to them. So basically, let me see if I can find them. Oh yeah, these right here. Pressure lock Delve caches. Basically, you can get those, and that's how you get better banners and stuff. But now, if you get a permatorch, you get 900 light. You get a lot better stats. I'll show you. If you do, say 250 Leviathans, you get automatically a 1 free permatorch. Now, this, if you want to dedicate it to that itself. Now, if you don't do the 250, you won't get it, of course. But if you do get lucky, like I said, by the drop chances and stuff, by doing Leviathans, you want to do Uber 10 and a higher Leviathan to get the torches, because you do not want to get 8 and 9, since they're so rare. You want to focus on them because they give you the best stats. I show you what a Uber 10 looks like as a banner. This is exactly what the Uber 10 looks like. It has the 900 light. Well, I got physical put in here, but you can put magical or whatever. I've got basically movement speed of 10, and I've got the jump for basically where I don't have a Gonda, whatever the case may be. That's exactly the way I basically done my torch. So think of it this way. When it comes to that, this is exactly how to build in that direction. So you'll be able to get the light and stuff like that. So you can have basically the extra stats and stuff like that. So that's how I've got my light so high. You also can actually use, if you're making a Shadow Hunter or whatever the case may be, you can also use the Ernie. Ernie will give you 25% more physical damage, 400 light. This is basically permanent stats. It also gives you a bubble of protection. Now, there is two choices of doing this. Is the Ernie, and it's one other one I do believe that just gives you a little bit more movement speed. But it's the two, it's the flop between the two. I'd rather have the physical damage so I can actually do the U11 a lot easier and be able to do that much more damage overall. So that's exactly why I choose to do it that way. So I can actually buff my damages and do it that way. So actually, I got to go back to the delves. Animated Jug is actually not bad if you don't have the other one. But the Ernie is stronger than the Animated Jug. Because what it does, when you actually do damage to an enemy, you'll actually get a buff shield. It looks like the thing from the Chloromancer. Like, I mean, you get that Aurora shield. So you'll be able to reduce your damages even further. So you'll be able to actually use that for the delves or whatever the case may be, and be able to do it that way. Now I got to grab this right quick. All right, Sock. Well, nice seeing you again, my friend, and hopefully be able to see you once again later on. And like I said, have a good night, my friend. And tell us how are you doing, my friend? Like I said, and welcome to the chat, of course. Like I said, yeah, but there is Ernie if you don't have the other one. I do agree with you on that. And basically, or Ernie basically is stronger because it has the higher light and stuff like that. Like I said, right now, my Shadow Hunter is carrying 10,345 light. I'm not doing too bad, I suppose. Like I said, I'm just doing a late night stream, of course, and trying to fill in some time and try to help people with the event and stuff, and so on and so forth. This basically does give everybody a heads up. If they've never done this event or these events before, they'll be able to get the information and stuff like that. I do have a YouTube channel based on this game as well, and I do have a lot of videos and stuff like that. You can honestly check it out. I do have some of my builds and stuff that I use daily, but now you don't have to use the builds if you don't like them. Whatever the case may be, that's your own choice. But I put them out there because there is survival builds versus doing the delves. And all I got to do, if I want to make a delve character, to say if I wanted to make my Shadow Hunter into a delve, all I've got to do is basically swap out this gem right here, which is basically a Vampiric Vanquisher, into a Berserk Battler, and I get the extra light and stuff and extra damage. And that's the only thing I have to do with that. So it's very easy to do in that direction. So I'm not wasting stats, I'm not wasting resources, but it's just another option to do that. As I said before, I've got my character where it's survival without using potions. I don't use basically nothing. I don't use the basically any type of vial, like to basically to keep myself alive or anything like that. I use basically what I tell you exactly the build I made itself. I basically use Pyrodisc. I use Stinging Curse for extra damage. Also using Vampiric Vanquisher. I'm also using Shadow Blitz. Basically, I'm using Berserker Emblem. I'm using the Martial Emblem for extra damage. And I'm also using the Balance Elysium Flask. Someone actually said to me one time, why don't you use the basically Death Defying? I do have a Death Defying, but I don't like the autopod. I really do not like the autopod. I can understand if you're using it for the Neo Ninja or something like that, or just don't have. Basically, to me, Death Defying actually is really good if you've got a laggy connection or something like that, or if you've got problems with that. That's exactly what I look at. Now, Death Defying is not bad, but it's not great either because, like I said, just one of those things. But like I said, when it comes to basically survival, like I mean, I don't use potions. I never used potions in years. And someone, like I said, once they came up with the Vampire Vanquisher, that was just it. Right, you can do it that way too, yeah. The various vial basically auto recharge when you actually do critical or do damage to the enemy. That actually works as well. So it's just two different ways of doing it. I used the one just because of when I'm using the Vampire Vanquisher. I use the one in combination just because of that. So I get 12 flasks at 40%. But I know exactly what you're talking about there. So it's two different flasks that you can actually use. I like to use in the 40% just because it basically gives me almost full HP. Plus with the Vampire Vanquisher, I can actually be able to use that and basically keep on healing myself if I decide to do so. But also with the extra 40% with the vial, that I can actually get the extra damage as well. So, like I said, it's two different vials that you can actually use. But I don't like using Death Defying. Death Defying is just, it's just, it just irks me to basically to even think about using it, just because of what it does. It's good if you basically got it, like I said, a laggy internet connection, or you're dying all the time. You want to try to get that. But what happens if you run out of potions? That is the biggest problem. If you run out of potions, then you're like, oh crap, I got to go back and I got to go back to my cornerstone. I don't go back to my cornerstone. I just don't. Like, I mean, I can do Uber 11, I can do Uber 10, I can do pretty much end game. I can do up to 135, just with my setup right now. 135, great, basically delve. I can't go past 135 because my damage drops off too much because I don't have the light. But as I said before, this is not a delve build. This is actually a grinder's build. This is completely different that way. So that's exactly what I try to help people out with, like I said, with builds and stuff like that, if they decide to use them. But they don't have to if they don't decide not to. But it would basically make you survive a lot longer. I'll show you what I mean in a second. I'll go to Uber 11. And I'll show you exactly what I can actually do there. I can do basically Uber 11 all day. It's just one of those things. And I don't have to worry about nothing. Now, I'm going to go switch over here. I know I'm doing the event too as well. But I'll give myself, okay, the geotop side. Because it takes light and stuff like that just to do it that way. So I'm going to go geotop side. And I'll show you exactly how this build works. Basically, the overall damage and so on and so forth. Now, I'm basically going to show you what the potion actually does for me, and I'm also going to show you exactly the damage I'm outputting without using anything, just my skills. And this is exactly the way I build it, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to kill an enemy here, which basically I can do dungeons, I can do all that stuff. So it's pretty straightforward. So I'm going to go along and do this right quick. I'm going to go to a dungeon here. And this is what I'm saying. When it comes to efficiency, now I know basically the Berserk Battler will give you a little bit more movement speed. But I trade off a little bit of movement speed just to basically just to have the survivability. Like, I mean, I'm not too much worried about losing like 20 movement speed is all I'm losing overall. So I'm not losing a heck of a lot. Plus, if I'm surviving every single step of the way, then I'm not actually struggling. And that's exactly the way I look at it. And I can basically do this all day. Like, I mean, I can come in here, do a Uber 11. Like I said, when it comes to a potion, like, I mean, I'm not even using potions here. And basically, that's exactly how this build works. And that's a good thing in that direction. So if it's not costing me nothing to run my character, and I'm not constantly pushing on that pot, or having something to pot for me, then I'm not actually basically struggling with my speed or anything like that, because it makes up the difference at the end of the day. And that's exactly why I actually build this character this way, because of that reason. Now, I'll show you the next one with the damage boost on a Crystal Skull. And hopefully my Pyro Disc actually cuts in too, because that'll actually give me even more damage. But see, I can do 24 mil just by doing that. 8 mil. 24 mil on high crits. So yeah, this is basically just the way the damage works with this character in this build. But now I can't say it's the best build for everything. Basically what I did was basically just made a pure grinder that can actually grind Uber 11 to get the rest of my gems and stuff like that. And of course, still had the speed to basically just to keep up with just pretty much almost every other character to a point. And it depends on how much your time you play and stuff in the game too as well. Like, I mean, if you're losing only just a little bit of speed and you're basically gaining invulnerability, basically you're breaking the game is what you're doing. So you're not cheating at the game. You're just basically breaking the game so you can actually be able to survive. And as you notice, I took a little bit of damage, but I'm still surviving. And what I can do right now, I can just go along. Let's go plop and kill one enemy, and boom, I'm getting back up to full HP again without using a vial. And that's exactly what I do in that direction when I come along and do some grinding. So it's a little different way of doing it. Like I said, I am losing somewhat minor stats, but I'm gaining the invulnerability for Uber 11. And like, I mean, the invulnerability does still work on the delves as well, but I do lose a little tiny bit of delve level. I don't lose a lot. I think 150 or 160 is the maximum with the maximum light for a Shadow Hunter. That is doing it legitimately. Now, there is glitches that people use to get the higher delves. And that's exactly what I looked at some YouTubers and stuff like that doing. And so on and so forth. But legitimately, like, I mean, you can get to about 160, so I'm only getting about 30 levels with the Berserk Battler. But I'm not using Berserk Battler. All I got to do is swap it that one gem and done. And I do have an extra one in my inventory, as I said before. Not in my inventory in my class, but in my storage. So I can always pop that on, basically build it up just a little bit, just to get the light stat off of it and done. And it's only a changing of one gem. That's all I need. So, like I said, if I really wanted to make a delve runner out of it, I could actually do that. Or I can actually make it a grinder, as I did. Basically, a lot of people don't realize out there, when it comes to builds and stuff like that, depends on what you're using it for. Like I said, some builds are better than others. Depends on what you're going to be using it for. Like if you're using it for survival, if you're using it for grinding, if you're using it looking for your other gems and stuff like that, it makes a great huge difference because you save time. And the more time you save, of course, like, I mean, if you're losing a little bit of one stat and gain something else, then you're actually not losing. You're basically still gaining. So to me itself, because think of it this way, if every time you got to go along and pick up like the extra vials and stuff like that, if you cut that to 0, you will never need to go back to your cornerstone. You would never need to go back to anything. Yes, I will tell you this. Once in a while, if there's a glitch in the game, like sometimes the mages and everything else hits that quick, it will kill my character, but very, very rarely. So that's exactly what it happens, and I just got troved. But anyway, regardless, my character does not die of natural causes. It does not die. I made a tank out of it, but with high damage. And that's exactly my build. Like I said, you could use it or just leave it or be happy with what you have. Like I said, I'm happy what I've built myself over time, and that's pretty much it. Anyway, I got to end my stream right now because I've got to reset. I will be back in a moment and be able to actually continue on. And like I said, hopefully you find this information for this build. If you like to try the build itself, you can actually try it. I know several different builds for every class, but certain ones will actually operate correctly, and certain ones will actually absolutely make the character fail. And what I'm saying is, you'll basically lose your speed, you lose your damage, you lose everything. Like if you put in a flower power, you'll actually lose that much more. But anyway, regardless, I'm troved right now, as you notice. My screen is frozen. I will be back here shortly, guys. And like I said, I'll be back with my stream. So I'll be back in a few moments. So peace here for now, guys, and hopefully be able to return. But if not, I'll see you later, and hopefully be able to catch you on your own stream as well.